Yo, what's going on, man? Hope you guys are doing well. Today's not November. I was about to say November. Today's December 2nd, 2022. The NBA ChrisBeCappinn Show live on Twitter and YouTube right now. Let's get into it, man. We got what is it? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 games slate, I think it is. Hit the like button for me if you guys are watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter, hit the like button for me. If you wouldn't mind retweeting the show, get as many people in here, many smart minds, people that want to share plays, people that just want to hear as possible. And let's get into it. Real quick on yesterday, nothing official for me. Took Detroit plus the 8 personal play. That ended up cashing. um, and we only had one game yesterday. So I know a lot of overs cashed yesterday. Shout out to everybody who made some money even on a one game slate yesterday. So that's all we got for yesterday. Let's get into today. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plays I'm looking to make today all together. Haven't put all of them in officially, but yeah, I like the card. I like the card for today, man. Like the card for today. Let's see what we got on YouTube before we actually get started. What up, Courtney? Appreciate you being here as always, KC. Yeah, I appreciate you guys, man. I'm fairly new, but I love what you're doing, man. Thanks for everything. Absolutely. I do it to, try to win. Just trying to win, man. Just trying to win. And Andrew, yeah, the hats are out, bro. If you want a hat, let me know, man. I can ship you a hat. The ChrisBeCappinn hats are here. We got them, man, for sure. So let's get into it. We're not here to talk about hats. We're here to talk about money. We're here to talk about plays that's gonna win us money. So let's get into it, man. First game up is let me get my notes up. First game up is the so we got 7 o'clock Eastern time game. Only one. The rest of the game started 7:30. That game is the Wizards and the Hornets. The Hornets were 2.5 point dogs at open, and now that line is pushed up to 4. Uh, the Wizards, they have not been great on the road recently. Charlotte, they have not really been great anywhere. This Charlotte team is just 6-15 straight up, 3-6 straight up at home, 5-4-1 last 10 ATS wise. This does start a 3-game homestand for Charlotte, though. They play on the second night of a back-to-back. They play Milwaukee tomorrow. Milwaukee comes into town. Milwaukee finally playing on the second night of a back-to-back. Feel like that hasn't happened all season. The Charlotte team coming off a 35-point loss on Monday as well against the against the Boston Celtics. They were extremely shorthanded in that game, and they didn't have Terry Rozier. I want to say somebody check for me. I feel like Rozier might be in for this game. That's something that I failed to look at earlier. I low key want to get there with Charlotte. I haven't taken the ticket yet, but if Rozier is in, that's the only way I would be able to look in this game. Just to continue to fade the Wizards on the road. Let me just check real quick. I want to see if Rozier is in, or see if we have any updated news on Rozier. Let's see. Um, let's see. So I'm looking. Rozier not on injury report. So yeah, I think he's gonna play today. Looks like Rozier is probably in. If Rozier is in, oh yeah. So y'all telling me in the chat too. Terry is in. Okay. Um, I've seen this team be home dogs, a few times this year, and they're extremely scrappy team, man. I think it might be better, looks on the board, but let's see. Hornets as home dogs this year. Not something that I really had a lot. I had wanted to take too much time on, honestly, but I low key want to get there, man. Especially now that the line is up to 4. I want to get behind the Hornets in this spot. Of course, my SDQL models want to mess up at this time, but yeah, y'all hit the like button for me as you guys kind of come in and start to chime in to the conversation and listen in. um, I like the Hornets, man. Like I said, I like the Hornets. Can't get my SDQL to work. Just got a spinning circle right now, but like the Hornets, man. Let me see if I can. Let me just try one more thing real quick. I want to see the splits for the Hornets specifically as home dogs this year, because I feel like when they catch points at home, that's typically when you want to take them. Let's see. So Hornets, they are not in the greatest spot. 2-5, just 2-5 against the spread at home. But of course, you gotta, you want to kind of look into that, see who they played against. I know that they won the last one against the Timberwolves. Beat the Timberwolves outright as catching 6.5 at home in that one, and they're rested in this spot too. I'm not looking to back the Washington Wizards. The Wizards are typically a team that I fade or I stay off of. Can't really ever seem to figure them out. They don't play well on the road all the time. If you look at the Wizards, and then I'm gonna move on because I don't want to stay on this game too long. You look at the Wizards as home favorites. They are just as away favorites. They are just 1-0. They beat the Pacers. I think that was the first game of the season, October 19th. They beat the Pacers by 7, laying 2.5. So they're typically not a favorite on the road, and I'm not looking to back them. I've talked about them being a favorite versus being a dog. Even at home, they play better in the dog spot. You typically don't want to take them as a favorite. They're just 5-6-1, winning the game by average of 1 point. So I kind of like Charlotte, especially with them getting 4. Not something that I put in my pocket yet, though. As far as my actual notes, I didn't really have anything, the only other thing I wanted to mention was the Wizards. They are 2-8 against the spread last 10 games in Charlotte, and just 2-7 against the spread last 9, no matter where the site is. So playing in Charlotte or playing in DC, the last 3 meetings have all gone under the total. And I think Dennis Smith Jr., I'm not sure if he's back or not either, but he is questionable. Another trend that I talked to you guys about was teams that lose by, and then I swear I'm going to get off of this game, but I always think this is interesting. Teams that lose by, previous opponent margin greater than or equal to, because they did lose that game by 30. Teams that lose by 30 in their following game, like I always talk about, they come back with something. So those teams this season are 9-3 against the spread. That's 75% cover rate when you lose by 30. And this team did lose by 30 against the Boston Celtics the other day. Those teams have won, let's see, they've covered 6 of the last 7 spreads. So yeah, like I said, I really like the Hornets in this spot. 9-3 against the spread, losing by 30 points or more in your previous game. 6-6 straight up as well. So yeah, another reason for me to kind of like the Hornets. I might put a little something on the Hornets, especially with the spread moving in the opposite way. Hopefully it closes at 4.5. I'll take Charlotte for sure if it closes at 4.5. The total in this one's gone up from 221 up to 226. I agree with the movement there. Washington tends to not play as much defense when they're a favorite. They typically play more offense and just kind of rely on their offense. But yeah, that's what I kind of got in that game. Next game up, moving along, we are the Magic and the Cavs. So I did officially play the Cavaliers. I played them last night, -10. Line opened at 9.5. And I just looking at the trends, man, this Orlando team, they're really, really depleted. That was one of the big reasons why I did it. I don't think that they are, who their record is. They're 5-17, one of the worst records in the NBA, just 1-9 on the road. I think they're better than that, but if they're injured, I'm gonna just continue to fade them. Just 2-8 last 10. 4-6 ATS last 10 as well. 3-6-1 on the road ATS wise. And they're on the front end of a road back to back. They travel to Toronto, I think, tomorrow. On the second end of a back-to-back. They've lost 6 games in a row and only covered 2 of those last 6. You look at this Cleveland team, I faded them incorrectly. Well, I didn't fade them. I talked about fading them incorrectly the other day. Thank God I stayed away from that because they absolutely blew the doors off the Philadelphia 76ers. We did get the total correct in the Bet US video play. The under 211 did cash, but this Cavs team, the 9-1 straight up at home, 8-1-1 against the spread at home. Best home record ATS wise in the association, just 4-4-2 in their last 10. But they're coming off, like I said, the impressive win. Listening to Jared Allen after the game, post-game conference, he said, "We're here. We're not to be pushed over." He got an extremely soft voice, but I think he meant what he said. Looking at this Cavs team, man, even without Jared Allen, who's not going to play tonight, Kevin Love was upgraded to questionable. It sounded like him and Darius Garland had a really good workout today, really good practice today. So he's been upgraded to questionable. If he plays, that's even more of a reason to like it, because he brings, just a defensive presence, especially without having Jared Allen. And he brings a much needed offensive presence, somebody that can stretch the floor, of course. Lamar Stevens was also listed as questionable. I think he got upgraded to probable, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just the injuries on the other side for the Magic. Okiki's still out. Jalen Suggs, Mo Bamba, Gary Harris, those guys are all still out. Wendell Carter Jr. is listed. He's already out. And Mo Bamba was listed as questionable, which they really, they could really use him. Another official play, I talked about this one on the morning show, Darius Garland. I grabbed his assist yesterday at 8.5. It was minus 128 when it came out. So of course this, probably juice. I'm pretty sure it's probably 9.5 now. I don't know exactly what the line is now, but I like Darius Garland assist. This is a spot that we attacked the other day with Trae Young, and that cashed in the first half. So in the earlier matchup this season, Darius Garland didn't play in that game. It was one of those games that he missed because he had got poked in the eye in that first game against Toronto. But looking at this Orlando team, they allowed 25 assists in that game. Donovan Mitchell had 8. Karis LeVert had 6 in that game. And over the last 5 games, Orlando's allowing the 4th most assists, 4th most assists in general. And like I talked about, we just cashed with Trae over 9.5 was something that he hit in the first half the other day. You look at Darius Garland at home versus road splits, he's averaging 1 more assist, 8.7 at home versus 7.7 on the road. Sosa just DM me Garland double plus 155. I feel like that's a really good look too. Like I said, if the line's probably gone up from 8.5 to 9.5 now. I haven't checked it recently, but I like that. On the road, Garland only 7.7 assists, but at home 8.7. Now you get a team that's allowing the 4th most assists. Garland has had at least 9 assists in all 3 of his last games. He's averaging 10.5 assists on 14.5 potential assists over his last 5 games. So I did play Garland minus 8.5. Over 8.5 assists last night, minus 128. But I like the value being able to get him because I do think it's a 10 assist type game for Darius Garland tonight. The Cavs, they're also 7-1-1 ATS at home. Depending on where you got the number, you might have got them at 8-1 at home as well. ATS or 9-1 at home. ATS this season. Last 4 games as a home favorite, they won by double digits in each one of those games. The smallest margin of victory was 12 points against the Atlanta Hawks. So even without Jared Allen, I think this team can score. I don't see Orlando, because they're so depleted, I don't see them, being able to slow this team down. And I think that they score. I think it's a defensive type game. I'll be looking towards the under in this one just because I don't feel like Orlando will score. I look for the Cavs to kind of, continue to be able to just kind of, beat up on some of these weaker teams. The spread in this one moved. I saw it move down to 9.5, but now I'm looking at it now. I see Cleveland is actually back up to 10.5. I do think the number's pretty sharp. I typically don't lay double digits with teams, but I do like Orlando. I do like Cleveland to clean Orlando up today. So, like I said, I played Garland over 8.5 assists. Couldn't talk anybody off the 9.5. And then I also played the Cleveland Cavaliers minus the 8.5 as well. Another really, really, I think, sharp look on this one. And Garland assists are actually still at 8.5 and actually a better number, which is scary. It's actually minus 110 now. But, you could play 9. You could play the plus money for 9.5, or you could take the double, like Sosa mentioned. I also think that, we've been attacking this Orlando Magic, backcourt for a while now. Donovan Mitchell threes. There was something I talked about on the morning show as well. I think that's a really, really great look. If you go in and look, he's hitting 5. He's averaging like 5 over his last 10 games. Dude is like he just shoots a lot of 3-pointers. I think I want to say like 10 threes a game over the last 5 or 6 games. So I couldn't talk anybody off of him hitting 4. I know he's averaging like 5. So that was something that is on my short list, but I haven't bet. Garland over 8.5 assists, I did bet. Donovan Mitchell over 3.5 threes, I didn't bet that yet, but you can get that at plus money. It's plus 108. And then I did take the Cavs minus the 10 for all my spread bettors. Next game, Nuggets and the Hawks. So this one actually opened. I didn't even change the banner. The Nuggets and the Hawks opened as the Hawks actually laying 2 points. But then, of course, we got the news. A bunch of guys out in this one. Um, Colin, John Collins is out. DeAndre Hunter is also out. Jalen Green, I think, is still questionable off the bench for this team. Bogdanovich is supposed to make his season debut. Trae Young was downgraded to questionable. Also on the other side, Jamal Murray was downgraded to questionable. I did give out a play right before Trae Young got listed as questionable in this one, and it's a spot that I absolutely loved. And that spot was the Denver Nuggets first quarter. Looking at them first quarter, this team is, absolutely tremendous in the first quarter, specifically against the East too. I got a full write-up in the chalkboard if you guys want to join. Shoot myself. I see Finesse in the chat. Shoot Finesse. One of us a DM, and we could get you guys the link to the chalkboard where we drop exclusive plays in there to get better lines, or sometimes it's just exclusive plays that I don't share in the spaces. So totally free. Feel free to reach out to either myself, Finesse, Ronald. I don't see him in the chat, or Ski. But all of us co-host Chalkboard community where we all share plays and share our favorite looks of the day over there, all for free. So, and it's also community engagement in the chats as well. So, shoot me a link if you guys want that. But complete write-up over there on Denver minus 0.5 in the first quarter. I still like the play, even without Trae Young. It does, kind of make me wonder about the motivation. But what I do like about it is we know Jokic is going to play the whole first quarter. He always does. And he's just been facilitating at a very high rate. They don't have Michael Porter Jr. in this one, but looking at their offense, I think fading Atlanta, coming back to the crib off of 2 games on the road has been something that's been extremely profitable. I just kind of had that thought, so I ran the query, and yeah, they just don't do well in the first quarter, specifically coming off 2 road games, and now they're extremely shorthanded. I really like the spot. Their offense super stagnant, scoring just 23 points, 23 and a half points off of 2 road games, coming back home off 2 road games. And the Nuggets, they're the best first quarter ATS team in away spots, 10-3 so far this season, averaging over 31 points. I really love that spot for them. And then I had a really strong look towards Trae Young assists as well. I talked about this one on the morning show, coming off the 14 assist game. Now back home where he averages even more assists than he does on the road. Denver also allows the 4th most assists to point guards on the season. But, I mean, this really isn't playable if he doesn't have his guys. So I don't like this one as much. I think Trae still comes out here and keeps this game competitive if he does play. But I don't know if he's going to play. Let's see. The line now is at 3.5. So I know it had touched 4 in favor of Denver. It looks like it's come back down to 3.5. The total has stayed about the same, probably because of all the injury stuff. And I haven't gotten any updates on those injuries. But before you can play this game, confidently, at least for myself, I kind of do want that. I do kind of want that information on these guys and if they're going to be in or be out, man. It's one of the things that makes it extremely difficult to kind of, cap these games. I just want to make sure we haven't gotten anything. So, yeah, I don't see anything else. Jamal Murray is still questionable in this one. Of course, Trae Young. Those 2 factors mean a lot. So, moving along, let's get to my Lakers and Bucks, man. I kind of feel like my Lakers. I see my guy Joey in the chat. I see Ski in here too. I feel like a Bucks fan and a Lakers fan that I know. I feel like it's like the line's just a tad bit disrespectful now. Like 9 points. I know that the Lakers haven't been done well on the road this year. I think they're 1-6, 0-6, something like that. But I kind of feel like we got the band together, man. Like, and I think it's 3 ways you could look at the Lakers too. Like, they're gonna be tested over the next week and a half, right? Because after this game against the Bucks tonight, they do play in DC. They play in DC on Sunday against the Wizards, and then they start this 7-game East Coast trip. And they haven't been at the rest disadvantage throughout the season in a lot of spots. They've been the more rested team. They haven't had to travel. They played a lot of games at home. So you could say, one might argue that the Lakers started the season off, at the very beginning, they were one of the worst shooting teams in NBA history. They couldn't make a 3, for like the first week and a half. But then you could also say, that the opponents just got easy, right? So, over the last few weeks, they've, had to play the Spurs 3 times, and you catch these teams in second night of back-to-backs like they did against the Indiana Pacers, even though they blew that game. But then the same thing against the Portland Trailblazers, and they were able to win that game. Portland in a real bad spot, able to cover that game. Brooklyn, I think, was on the second night of a back-to-back as well. After they had played the Clippers also. So, they got Brooklyn. But to me, in this game, it's not I think Lonnie Walker went through shoot around. He's going to play. He was listed as questionable. Same thing with Troy Brown Jr. The only person the Lakers will be without is Dennis Schroeder, who him and his wife welcomed, I think, a baby boy into the world this morning. And he was already on the injury report as well. But to me, it just feels like, it's too many points. Lakers 8-12 straight up. Which is not the greatest, but it's a lot better than they started, like 2-8, 2-10, whatever that was. Just 2-6 on the road, and 6-4 last 10. So now, for me, it feels like everything kind of starts for the Lakers now, right? Because you've been able to build up some momentum, and does that translate on the road? Does that translate on the Eastern Conference, where you're going to be on second night of back-to-backs? You're going to be on third and fours. We see these teams that go on these long road trips, kind of not look the same way that they did when they're, catching games at home and, in a more, I guess, normal climate or normal environment. So the Lakers are going to have to get adjusted to playing earlier than they typically have. I just feel like 9 points still too much. So what I got for you guys, the Bucks are 15-5 straight up, and 11-2 at home. They're 9-4 ATS at home as well. Over the last 10, they're 6-4 straight up, but just 4-5-1 against the spread. To me, it feels like the Bucks, the line is in the pub, and this is the ESPN game too. So the public, wants to see Giannis get a triple-double and score 45 points. Like I totally understand that. Middleton making his debut could throw off the chemistry just a tad bit. I don't think that it helps any, even though he is a vet. Ibaka was listed as questionable in this one as well. Big test game for me, I think. The Lakers, 0-3 straight up and ATS on the season, when LeBron and AD have both played in games where they were away underdogs. However, the last loss was on November 9th versus the Clippers. So it's been a while since the Lakers, and that was a game that was played at crypto.com as well. The Lakers have not played that bad recently. Another thing that I looked at was the Bucks. When the Bucks are laying between 8.5 and 10 points as a home favorite, they're 8-2 straight up, but just 3-7 against the spread since the start of last season. So I think, given that trend, the Bucks typically win those games. Of course, 8-2 is 80%, but just 3-7 against the spread since the start of last season, when they're laying between 8.5 and 10 points. To me, that says they win these games, but they don't necessarily cover them all the time. So now that it's 9, I probably got to play the Lakers. I've been kind of sitting on this one all day. I don't feel like the Lakers going to get blown out in this game. I also think that they probably keep it close early. They've been playing really well in the first quarter and the first half, so we'll kind of see if that translates on the road as it has at home for them recently. But I feel like I got to kind of put a +9 in my pocket, and I haven't done it yet. But that's just my kind of thoughts on that game. I haven't looked at any player props at all, if I'm being honest with you guys, and don't want to dwell on that game too much. But I'm definitely going to be tuned in for that one. Heat and the Celtics. I don't know if you guys saw the video. Jimmy Butler put out the video yesterday. He was on the private jet or a plane or something and said, "Boston, I'm back." So he's coming back for the game tonight. I think that only helps the Heat. Total in this one is, so it opened as the Celtics at let's see, I think it was 8.5. Boston opened at 8.5, is now down to 7. So some money's coming in on Boston, Miami, to be able to kind of keep this one close. Miami has been one of the better teams at playing Boston. Boston has the offense that's on pace to break pretty much every single season record. The total in this one went from 224.5 up to 227. I don't really have a strong opinion because I'm not in a position to fade Boston. I'm also not in a position where I want to I'm not fading Boston. And I don't have a strong opinion on this game. I do feel like getting Jimmy Butler back can only help this team. Miami looked like they were in great shape to kind of cover the spread last game. And then you just see Boston, they're not really playing defense. They just want to go out there, shoot a bunch of threes. They're hitting them at a very efficient rate. Even if they miss 3 in a row, they might come down and make 3 in a row after that. So Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Derek White, Al Horford, Grant Williams, man. Malcolm Brogdon. Yeah, I'm staying away from this game. Not really looking at props either, if I'm being honest with you guys. That'll probably be another game I just want to watch. Next game up, the Raptors and the Nets. So this one actually opened at 3 in favor of the Nets. Double revenge. It opened at 3.5. Double revenge game for Toronto here. Total in this one 223 went up to 224. I don't agree with the line movement there because Toronto gave up a lot of points. I think it was 106 points to New Orleans Pelicans, pretty much their second unit 2 nights ago. Looking at this one, you get the Raptors. They're 11-10 straight up, but just 3-8 on the road, which you don't necessarily want to back the Raptors on the road, throughout the season. A lot of those losses did come without Pascal Siakam, and they are much improved with him. This will be his third game back. He played in that game on Sunday against the Dallas Mavericks when they won. But then, like I said, they look like a shell of themselves, man. For me, if anything, I feel like, that game is a throwout game. I don't expect Toronto to play that bad back to back, and I think the market kind of agrees with that. You see this line come down from 3.5 to 1.5, and if you're gonna take the Raptors, you might as well take them on the money line. I do like the double revenge spot. No Ben Simmons in this one. Otto Porter Jr. is out on the other side as well. Precious Achiuwa is out. I'm just not really in a spot where I want to fade Brooklyn because this is, I think, their 4th game of a 7-game homestand. So when you see these teams kind of, playing game after game after game at home, of course, eventually they're due to lose one. The Raptors, I feel like, are due to come up. I like the matchups too. When you think about, being able to put a guy that played terrible defensively, you typically don't see OG Anunoby play that bad defensively. This is Zion. He's probably giving up 100 pounds, right? Like in weight. You do when you see that happening. I feel like OG probably is going to come back out with something tonight. He's going to have his hands full because KD's been on a tear. So I'll probably be off of KD and probably be looking towards some Kyrie props. I think on the opposite side, Fred VanVleet was shooting the ball so poorly. Everybody for Toronto that wasn't named Gary Trent Jr. was shooting the ball so terribly in the last game against Toronto, and they would just turn the ball over so much that I kind of feel like you have to be looking towards Toronto being able to bounce back in this spot. On the season, I think Brooklyn is like giving up the third or fourth highest 3-point percentage against opponents. So I'd be looking for guys, other guys to be able to step up and it not just to be all Pascal Siakam in this one, because he was the only thing that was going. It was him and Gary Trent Jr. I also feel like Nick Nurse was kind of playing with the starting lineup. I think you probably get Scotty Barnes back in there tonight. And like I said, this is, double revenge game. Brooklyn is 3-0 ATS in their last 3 games, as far as a head-to-head matchup. But they haven't been able to back up a lot of success with success. Brooklyn is just 0-3-1 ATS in their last 4 games following a straight-up win. They're 4-7 against the spread after a win this season as well. So I think they're kind of teetering with a loss. I would only be looking towards the Raptors. And I talked about it on the morning show, man. I really want to play the Raptors. I just haven't. And if I get there now, it's going to be a money line bet or nothing for me because I missed the best of the number trying to get them at 3.5. It's really interesting because the last, 3 or 4 times that these teams have faced off, no matter where they've been, all of the games have kind of come down to a 1-possession game. So I like this game to, be a 1-possession game. The Raptors, I lean, really, really heavily towards the Raptors, even though I didn't play them yet. I might end up getting there. Raptors and the Lakers are on my short list. Haven't played either one of those teams yet. Pelicans and the Spurs, man. I think CJ went through shoot around. Not quite sure if he's going to play in this one. He could have played in the last one, but they kept him out for reconditioning in that game against Toronto when they smacked Toronto up. Now the Spurs, still really depleted. I think I saw reports that they still have their share of guys out in this one. And then, the tanking is at an all-time high right now. This team is not looking to Finesse just tweeted out too. All right. So this team isn't looking to, win games. 7 is a lot. The Pelicans, the only thing that kind of, makes it just a tad bit scary is that they did just beat this team. They also, this will be their first road game, I think, in like over 2 weeks because they had like 7 games, I think, at home. So not a spot where you necessarily want to back this team, but the Spurs aren't trying to win, man. I think looking to the Pelicans early in this one is a look. Herb Jones is also going to be out in this game. But I didn't take like a full dive into it. So nothing really official for me. I know fading the Spurs has been extremely profitable, whether it's first half, first quarter, full game. They've just been one of the worst teams in the league over the last 2 years. I'm sorry, over the last 2 weeks. I'm trying to see if we got updated. Okay, so Trae Young, Clint Capella, Bogdanovich, Jalen Johnson, and Frank Kaminsky, all a game time decision. That helps us none. Yeah, that thanks for nothing. That doesn't help us at all. Yeah, we like legit don't have anything else. The injury news in this game was Doug McDermott got ruled out, Josh Richardson. Those guys, mean they do mean a lot as far as the offense goes for this team, especially both of those guys. If you've been watching the Spurs play, I've been watching them play just a tad bit. Doug McDermott's been putting it on the floor. When they run him off the 3-point line, and Josh Richardson can pretty much score from all levels of the floor as well. So, yeah, I don't really have anything on that game. I do want to see if I don't know if Jakob Pertl's going to be in this one. He definitely makes a big impact as well, especially in the paint. So I don't know if you guys got anything on that. Moving along, the 76ers and the Grizzlies game. This one opened at 5 yesterday. It went up to 5.5, touch 5.5. And then it came back down. It's still 5.5. Extremely low scoring, low total, 219. And some money's coming on under 217. I think the contrarian look is actually the over. I think you play the over if you think that Memphis Grizzlies is gonna win, and you play the under if you think that the Philadelphia 76ers are going to win. I'm on Memphis in this game. I made the Bet US video earlier. I understand that the 76ers, they have done really, really well in this spot. If I can get this to come up, it was something that I wanted to share with you guys. And I think I just might have it written down too. So breaking the game down, Memphis, they are 76ers. They're 12-10 straight up, 5-5 on the road, 5-5 on the road ATS as well over their last 10, 7-3. 5-5 on the road, 7-3 last 10 straight up, 8-2 against the spread last 10. So I think 8-2 on last 10 ATS wise is probably the best ATS record other than like Boston. Philly plays again on Monday against Houston, so no real look ahead spot for them. And then Memphis, they do play tomorrow against Detroit. And they play in Detroit as well. So kind of a sandwich spot. They lost the game against the Timberwolves earlier this week, and then they come home for one. They got to go back on the road, but it's Detroit, so no real look ahead spot there. Revenge game though. So head to head, Philly did win the last game in overtime last season, 122-119. Memphis has won the last 3 games in Memphis though, and they've covered all 3 dating all the way back to 2018. The 76ers team is 0-4 against the spread last 4 games in Memphis specifically. I would go on a limb and argue that those Philadelphia 76ers teams are probably better than the team that they have today. Also, Tobias is listed as questionable with an illness, and I don't think that he went through shoot around. So if they're extremely shorthanded again, to me, I want Memphis off of a previous ATS loss. Looking at the trends for that, they're 5-1. Memphis is the Grizzlies 5-1 against the spread after a previous ATS loss when their next game is at home. The Grizzlies are also just a lot better home team. They're 27-9 against the spread dating back to last season in their last 36 home games, 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 following an ATS loss, and 16-6 against the spread dating back to last season with that same exact trend. And then for what it's worth, I talked about this on the morning show as well. For what it's worth, dating back to last season, Memphis is 8-1, 80% coming off an ATS loss on a Friday when their game is at home, including 4-0-1 this season as well. So Memphis turns up on Fridays, man. I think that, the 76ers are due to regress back. I don't think that they're as bad as they played, in that previous game against the Cleveland Cavaliers on Wednesday. But I also feel like just looking at the spot, it just, to me, it just feels like a Memphis spot. I think that they have the size to deal with Joel Embiid, so they don't have to double team him. I know Embiid had a bad game, so I do expect him to bounce back. But I expect the Grizzlies to be able to get out and run. They played extremely not fast as they did last year. I think about 14th or 15th in pace. And we know this Philadelphia 76ers team, especially Joel Embiid, he struggled against those teams this year. I know they had straight up losses early this season against the San Antonio Spurs, against the Indiana Pacers, or if they didn't lose those games straight up, they didn't cover the spread. Teams that like to get out and push the pace, make Joel Embiid actually run, typically doesn't bode well. That does not bode well for the Philadelphia 76ers. Also, last point, Philly is on their seventh game in 11 nights. A lot of these guys that's been coming in and kind of helping out, guys like Shake Milton, guys like DeAnthony Milton, who is also in the revenge game tonight. Those guys may just be running on fumes. Guys like Kirk Moss, guys like Gorgeous Niang, guys like Montrezl Harrell, Paul Reed, all of those guys. So I played Memphis -5.5 last night and then gave it out today at -5 because the number did go down. So official on Memphis. Rockets and the Suns. I don't really have anything in that game. Couldn't talk anybody off the Devin Booker props. I also like DeAndre Ayton. I don't know if people have been really. I know, Devin Booker's an MVP candidate. He's probably the MVP of the West right now in a lot of people's eyes, just what he's been able to do without Chris Paul and how he's been able to carry this team specifically over the last week. I'm pretty sure he's going to win Western Conference Player of the Week for this week. Absolutely tremendous stuff, starting with the game against Sacramento. And then, 51 the other day in 3 quarters. So the Rockets don't play any defense. They don't even have a guard to be able to slow him down. But I also like Ayton. I like Ayton's matchup against Sengun because Sengun is barbecue chicken on the inside as well. I think you get the discount with Ayton just looking at player props, but that's something that I didn't play either. Pacers and the Jazz. Halliburton is questionable, so nothing official for me in that one. Mo Bamba did just get ruled out. That only helps the Cavs even more. Hopefully motivation-wise, they don't, just come out here and overlook this team. But I don't expect Orlando to be able to score a lot of points in that game. Pacers and the Jazz, like I said, nothing. Like, it's really hard to cap this game if Tyrese Halliburton isn't in, if we don't know, and it looks like he's going to be a game-time decision. So I'm going to skip over that game. The Bulls and the Warriors, this was a game I took a deep dive into, and one of the things I was looking at, not official on it though, is the total. I kind of feel like it's going up. It opened at 234.5. It's up to 238. And I kind of like the under. I like the under just because if Golden State does play defense, it's typically at home. If the Bulls are going to keep this game close, as the spread implies of a 7-point spread, and it hasn't jumped a lot, we know that you want to back the Warriors at home, especially when they're coming off an ATS loss or a road loss. Bulls 7-2 to the under after a previous ATS loss this season, including all 3 of their last 3 games. The average total for the Warriors games as a home favorite coming off a loss is about 227 points, well below the total of this game being at 237. So that was just some quick analysis I was looking at. I feel like this could be an under spot, especially if the Bulls going to keep this one close. The Warriors -7 is something that I did play. I like the Warriors to win this game, man. If you look at them, they're 6-0 straight up, 5-1 against the spread as a home favorite in games where they didn't previously cover the spread this season, including 5-0 ATS the last 5, winning those games by average of 15 points. They're also 5-2 against the spread this season and 7-0 straight up as a home favorite, laying 7 points or more, winning those games by average of 14 points. The Bulls, this is a team that they remind me a little bit of the Wizards. You just don't know which version you're going to get. They got outright wins this year against, teams like the Milwaukee Bucks. They beat Boston twice, and Boston has only lost 4 games all season. So they can come in here and be scrappy. I just feel like their exterior defense, right? Their 3-point defense specifically is atrocious, and that's what the Golden State Warriors do best. I don't think that they have anybody that can slow down Steph. I think Golden State's probably motivated after losing the game in the way that they did against the Dallas Mavericks the other day. So yeah, Warriors 7th best offensive rating at home this season, 5th best overall over the last 5 games league wide. So I like the Warriors tonight. Played them -7, and that's literally all I got. I only got 2 player props. And then I do have some sides that I played. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like 8 plays all together that I'm gonna end up being official. And I'm gonna go over those one more time. If you guys got requests, send them to me. If you guys are watching the show, I've been talking for a long time. Hit the like button for me. Excuse me. Hit the like button for me. Retweet the show as well. Get it, as many people in here that want to cash or either are sharp and maybe they want to share their plays as possible. Officials: Darius Garland over the 8.5 assists. Donovan Mitchell over the 3.5 threes. I didn't play that one yet, but I'm probably gonna go official with that one. I don't like taking too many plays in the same game, but I do like Donovan Mitchell to go over 3.5 threes. And I also played the Cavs minus the 10. These were plays that I put in yesterday. Memphis minus 5.5. I put in today. Gave it out, like I said in the Bet US video, minus 5. Denver first quarter, gave that one out in chalkboard earlier, minus 0.5. Warriors minus 7. My two strongest leans that I haven't played yet is the Raptors money line and the Lakers plus the 9, man. I really want to get there with both of those. So that's what I got. But enough of what I got. What are you guys on? Like I said, send me your requests. I get, as many people up as possible. We still got, looks like about 32 minutes before 6:30 when I want to wrap it up. So if you guys got plays, send them to me, man. Let me know what you guys are on today. Making sure we don't have any injury news. I got one request. Let me see what's going on in this chat real quick. Andrew said he did a parlay with Joker, Aiden, Garland, double doubles plus 260. JT said Chris Middleton minutes restrictions. Gonna look at his points. Bamba is ruled out. Appreciate y'all for sharing that. Grizzlies early. I like the Grizzlies early, Fremont. So one of the things I looked at was, it's two conflicting trends though. So one of the things I looked at before I actually start taking requests, one of the things I looked at, if I can get it to come up, one of the things I looked at was when you look at I'm gonna share this on my screen too. When you look at the Grizzlies and they're coming off a previous ATS loss and they're at home this season, they're winning the first quarter. So if you guys are watching on YouTube, I'm gonna share my screen real quick. This is one of the things I looked at earlier. For you, Fremont. So if you look at this, just zoom in just a tad bit. All right, so you guys can see the Grizzlies after a previous ATS loss, and they're at home. This first quarter, they're winning by an average of 8 points. So they're scoring 36 points and giving up 28. Hence why I said if you like Memphis, you like the over. If you like Philly in this game, you want the under. And if you like Memphis, maybe you sprinkle on the first quarter and make that another play. But they are winning the first quarter by 8 points. You guys can see the margin right here. But on the opposite side, if you look at the 76ers, and if you look at them off a previous ATS loss this season, they also coming back out with something. So that's why they didn't get there on the first quarter. They're winning the first quarter by 4 points. So you got to figure out, which flow of the game do you think is going to happen, right? The 76ers are good. They're 5-3. You guys can see right here, 5-3 ATS, 1-7 to the under off a previous ATS loss this season. But like I said, I think for me, the reason why I'm not as big on Philly and the reason why I feel confident even playing the Memphis Grizzlies is because of the rest spot. And the rest spot to me implies that 76ers may end up running out of gas, being their seven game in 11 nights. So I think for Memphis is only their 5th game in the same 11 nights. So that's what I got, man. That's what I got for you on that. And one of the reasons I didn't take Memphis early, but I was strongly looking at Memphis early for sure. Let me get Line Slayer up. It's 320 people. I only got 2 requests. If y'all got to play, man, y'all let me know. I can get y'all up. Line Slayer, what's going on, bro? Can you hear me?
What up, Chris, man? How you doing, brother?
I'm good, bro. How about yourself?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Hanging in there. Called the show the other day. Didn't get myself up here, but today, there's a few looks I'm looking at. But I'll give out 2. You already gave out one. Love the Warriors with the -7. As you mentioned, fucking they're playing the Bulls like 28th against the 3 as far as ranked in the NBA. And the Warriors one of the best shooting 3-point teams, as you mentioned as well. Just see them guys, Clay, Steph, Wiggins, Lamb when he come off the bench, Poole, everybody it'd be a big old splash party today. So,
Absolutely.
Rolling with that for sure. And then also I like the I'm ready to take the Nuggets with the -3.5 before we know Trae Young or anybody else is out, because that thing probably go shoot up to at least 6.5 if Trae don't play. I mean, we know John Collins is out. So, I mean, with that being said, they are going to be a lot smaller. I'm just looking for, Gordon and Jokic to have their way kind of. Capella, lost a beat, get in foul trouble. It's going to be a long day, Definitely just having to deal with the way Joker can maneuver and get folks in foul trouble. So, Murray, healthy. I mean, I like the Nuggets to, with that up-tempo pace, go play to their favor. So I'm rolling with that before Trae Young is pitched out.
Okay, ain't nothing wrong with trying to guess it right, Lion Slayer. And most of the time, in a situation like this, like when we get the news that a player is supposed to play and then they get downgraded to questionable, from actually going. Typically, not all the time, but typically that leads to a player being ruled out versus being ruled in. So couldn't talk you off of that one, Lion Slayer, if you want to try to jump ahead, like you said, because we know the book's gonna lock up quick soon as Trae Young gets announced out if he's not gonna play. So couldn't talk you off of that. Best of luck to you, my brother. I hope you cash it for sure.
Appreciate you, Chris. Thanks for letting me up.
Absolutely, bro. Anytime. Let me kick it to my guy VG. I ain't heard from VG in a while. Then I'm gonna kick it to my guy Finesse. What's up, VG?
What's good, man? Much love to you and everybody out there. Spread love is the Brooklyn way.
Absolutely. What's going on, bro?
Just been on it, working hard, but concentrate on this Brooklyn game. I am from Brooklyn, I am from New York, so that's the team that I watch the most. I got a lot of player props out there that I do like a lot. Just to throw them out there real quick, Golden State. I like their small forward position. I think that's a good matchup. Either Wiggins or Clay, I think they can hit their over on their points. That's a nice little throw out there for y'all since people talking about the Golden State game. But concentrating on the Brooklyn game. Just to give it to y'all quick, man. I like Kevin Durant for 25 points. I like Kyrie for 20. I like Pascal Siakam for 8 rebounds, and I alternated Brooklyn Nets for +4.5. Let me see. Let me get it. Toronto is just not there defensively. They're not the team that I remember them to be the season before or 2 years before that. And you can add the injuries to their front line, like like guys like Van Vliet and other guards that I think honestly they kind of still injured to this day, and they just they're trying to get through it and get back to being 100%. The matchup tonight, the key matchup tonight in this game, I like a lot is Kevin Durant and Siakam. Siakam's a beast. If you guys want to concentrate on his PRA tonight, I would not blame y'all for going over it. There might be some money going on it, so it probably ticked up. If you could get the alternate on him, I like him for 34.5. Just to play it safe, but he should hit that around that number. Kevin Durant, maybe playing a little more of the perimeter. I don't imagine him trying to attack the inside too much, get into the rim. I could be totally wrong, but to draw out Siakam, who's a really good rim protector, and bring him out there and let other Brooklyn Nets like Kyrie to slash to the basket and get points. I'm imagining that might be the game scheme tonight. We don't got Nash anymore, so we could probably do something. And Kyrie personally just goes off on Toronto. Everybody knows that. If you want to go crazy, go for him for 30 tonight. Maybe even 25, because you'll still get plus money on that. But I like him over 20. I took him over 20 just to be safe. And that's my little parlay for tonight. So once again, Kevin Durant, 25, Siakam 8 rebounds, Kyrie 20 points, and Brooklyn Nets, I put it for +4.5. The game itself, I feel, is like a toss-up. I should have probably went over on the total points, but I went with Brooklyn. All right, man. Y'all have a good night. Chris, love you, man.
Absolutely, bro. Appreciate the love, VG. I hope you cash that too, bro. I definitely hope you cash that. Nice little parlay. Okay. Before I kick it to Finesse, Trip in the chat said Darius Garland has scored 25 points or more in 4 straight games when facing the Magic, while Franz Wagner has scored 20 or more in 6 straight games when facing the Eastern Conference as a dog. That's a hell of a track. That's a hell of a 2 stats right there for you guys. If anybody was looking at Darius Garland points, I'm on his assists, like I said, or if anybody was looking at looking at Franz, extremely short-handed. I would only be able to look to Franz. I would only be able to look to Bol. They do got a really good matchup if Bol is in the game at center. Having Mobley in the game, who pretty much same kind of body frame. But somebody got to score. I'm pretty sure that list of available players for Orlando only gonna have about 7 or 8 players on it. So love those looks, Strip. Appreciate you sharing that in the chat. Let me kick it to my guy Finesse. Finesse, what's going on, bro? I know you probably got a couple of player props for us and some sides. What you on tonight, man?
What's good, Rod? You doing?
I'm good, bro. Tell me you taking your Celtics tonight so I can feel confident.
No, I'm not, but we gonna fucking, crush them like we always do. I don't give a fuck who's back. I don't care about all that. Jason Tatum, best player in the league right now, but we ain't here for that. You know what I'm saying? We ain't here for that. It's a different space, different discussion. But yeah, got a couple things I like. I try to be quick. So a couple people, including VG, mentioned Irving. I'm official on Irving today, over 22.5 points. He's cleared this line in 9 of 15 games this year, including 5 of his last 9 home games, averaging 25 points per game in those home games. Toronto's defense predicated on limiting what the opponents do best and limiting their best scoring options, which is obviously KD. KD's been red hot as of late. I don't expect that to change, leaving plenty of opportunity for Kyrie, I expect in this game. Evident by his history versus Toronto, covering his line in back-to-back games versus them, averaging almost 30, and in 3 of his last 4 versus them. He's averaging 35 minutes per game over his last 10, and he's covered this line in 7 of 11 and 5 of his last 7 home games when playing 33-plus minutes. Toronto is limiting point guard points this year, but they're still allowing the 3rd highest field goal percentage to the position. The times that they have faced point guards as talented as Kyrie, Trey, they gave up 33 to Trey, 24 to Luka on only 14 shots by Luka, and then 29 to Kyrie just a few games ago. So I like Kyrie today. He burned me last time I bet on him, but I'm ready to get hurt again. So I think he does his thing today. The next play I'm on is Jaren Jackson Jr. over 15.5 points. That's on DK. Triple J has covered this line in 5 straight games, averaging close to 21 points in those games. 7 of his last 10 games, averaging 18, and 4 straight home games, averaging 22. Foul trouble has always been an issue for Triple J throughout his career. And somewhat this season, I don't expect that to be the case. He's not always guarding Embiid when they play, so I don't think foul trouble is going to be a huge issue. He's still averaging close to 27 minutes per game this year, and has covered this line in 15 of his last 20 when playing that amount of minutes. He's covered this line in back-to-back games versus Philly, averaging 20 points per game. Over the last 7 games, Philly's allowing the 11th most points to power forwards, and more importantly, allowing them to shoot over 52% from the field. So Triple J is probably going to shoot, 13 or 15 times, even in limited minutes. So we like that. Some recent performances by power forwards versus Philly. Mobley has 16. John Collins had 13 on only 8 shots. Paolo Banchero covered twice, and PJ Washington had 19 points. So I think even in somewhat limited minutes, he's averaging 14 shots per game, almost 6 3-point attempts per game, and 5 free throw attempts per game. So if he gets even close to those numbers, I expect him to cover that one. Probably my favorite play of the day. This one is a spicy one. Keldon Johnson, under 31.5 PRAs. I really, really like this line, purely based on the matchup. He's only covered this line in 3 of his last 10 games, and only in 3 of his last 7 games at home. Like I said, really tough matchup versus the Pelicans. Over the last 7 games, are ranked 2nd in defensive rating, 4th in opponent points per game, and 7th in opponent field goal percentage. They've been especially tough versus power forwards, allowing the 8th fewest points and 3rd fewest assists to power forwards over the last 7 games. Keldon has been rebounding the ball better over the last couple of games. I don't expect that to be the case in this game. He's also really struggled in this matchup in his career. He's gone under in all 8 games versus the Pelicans, only averaging 20.3 PRAs in those games. So huge edge there. I really, really like that play. He's going to get his shots up, but I think they'll limit him from 3. He'll probably be guarding Zion. Zion is a fucking tank, so foul trouble can be an issue as well. I'm on Horford over 2.5 assists. I won't give the whole spiel on that. He's been a wagon versus Miami at this number. He's a guy that's not going to average a shit ton of potential assists, but his potential assists do get converted into assists a large percentage of the time based on how good we are on offense. So I like that. One lean that I have is Clay. I think VG mentioned that. His line is 17.5. I hate betting him because he's so streaky. If the ball goes in the first time he shoots, he's putting up 20 shots and might make 15 of them. But if he starts jacking them up and missing, it could be tough. But Overall this year, Chicago's limiting shooting guards, but that hasn't really mattered in this matchup for Klay. Over the last 10 games versus the Bulls, he's averaging 28 points per game in those matchups. So slight lean there, and Russ over 5.5 assists is a slight lean as well. I was waiting for the Dennis Schroeder news. You shared that he was out, so I really like that. He's averaging 14 potential assists per game, around that same amount over the last 5 games. So I think he's going to be very active facilitating the Rock. So just a lean right now, I might get there, but over 5.5 assists for Russ. So officially, and I'm on Garland assists with you as well. So I won't get the whole spiel. You gave it already. Perfect analysis. I love that play. So I'm official on Garland over 8.5. Kyrie over 22.5. Triple J over 15.5 points. Horford over 2.5 assists. And Keldon Johnson under 31.5 PRAs. I know I talked a lot. I apologize, but that's what I'm on today.
Nah, you gave out the bangers, Finesse. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you for sure. I like that we aligned on a few. I also like that Klay play too, Finesse. I hadn't taken it, but like one of the things that I thought you was going to say this, that if Klay hit that first one, he liable to clear 17.5 before halftime. So I like that Klay one too. I might end up getting there with you on Klay as well, but I love the analysis. I think that's a sharp look on Keldon Johnson too, Finesse. I know a lot of people not looking to take his under, especially when you got Herb Jones already ruled out in that game. So that's a really, really sharp look there on that under for Keldon Johnson. The Triple J one, I think, is very, very enticing as well. We know Tobias is listed as questionable. If he doesn't play, Triple J could, he's going to spread the floor for sure. And it's going to be hard for any of those backup power forwards to be able to get out there and guard him at the 3-point line while also being able to protect the rim against him too. So love those looks, Finesse. Appreciate you sharing those, bro, for sure. We got the legend in the building, 2 of them. What up, Prop Bomb in here, and I see RC in here too, man. If y'all got anything y'all want to share, definitely send me requests. I'll get you guys up. Let me kick it to Hustle. What's going on, Hustle? How you doing, bro?
Same old soup, just reheated. How you doing, man?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. What you want today?
I'm on my Lakers today, man. As far as AD is doing what he's supposed to do, what we've been wanting him to do all season, and that's grab them boards and get in the paint. They got his boards today at 11.5 for plus money. He's cleared this in like the last 7 or 9 games I counted. So I'm combining that with Porzingis is under rebounds at 9.5. Every game this season, Porzingis' trend is after he has a big rebounding game, and he just grabbed 19 against Brooklyn. He after that he'll only get like 4 or 5 or so rebounds. So I'm combining that in a parlay that's giving me about 270, plus 270.
Okay.
Let me ask you this, because I haven't been able to watch a lot of these early games. What's going on with Jimmy Butler?
He's on track to play. He hasn't played in quite some time, but I alluded to the video he put out earlier. I think he was on. I don't know if I guess he was coming from Miami. He was on a plane or a private jet. And, he was like, I'm back, Boston, I'm back. So clearly, I think with making a video like that, he plans on making an impact. And that's all I got for you, Hustle. I mean, you know how much Jimmy Butler is he's a winner. But when you think about conditioning wise, I don't know, what I mean? Like, I don't know what, shape he's in as, like how he's going to impact the game. Defensively, I feel like he has to bring something, but, I don't know if he's going to be on a minutes limit or, like what shape he's in, especially, to finish the game, like maybe coming out, initially. And I know Spoelstra is one of the smartest coaches in the league. So he's not going to, leave him out there for too many minutes at a time, during stretches. But I don't know. I just feel, to me, when players, especially, like these real big players that impact the team a lot, of course, he's the leader of that team. When they're missing, these like significant amount of games, it's really, really difficult to cap their first game back,
Yeah, true. But I figure the only way they stay in this game is if Jimmy Butler puts up points. If not, I just feel like they're going to get blown out. So I feel like they have to have Jimmy in there. I mean, his 30 today is plus 1,000, and it's just, I don't know. Something's telling me to
that him and Tatum are going to combine for 30. So I'm going to just say that's a lean. I'm not sure on that. I'm going to just count that as a lean, because like you say, it can go either way. Even his 25 is plus 310. And his 20
Don't do it, hustle.
Is even money. Don't do it. It's Jimmy Butler on his volume. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he gets up 15 or 17 shots, like.
Yeah, no, I definitely see what you're saying with the volume, and if you feel like you got a good read on, him, hop on out there, get in front of that. What we do know about, I think Finesse would agree with this. What we do know about Boston is that they're not really trying to stop you. They just trying to score 300 points. So if they score 300 and you score 140, they still win by 160. So to me, it feels like Boston doesn't really care necessarily about defense at all times, because we did see about 2 weeks ago where their defense had taken a tremendous step up, and I think they were like 8th defensively. But since then, they've been kind of, bunch of guys in and out of the rotation. Also, this is that really weird, like, back to back, same gym just a couple nights ago, same teams, playoff revenge angle. So, like I said, it's just too much for me to try to figure out, what I want to do, and especially when you got, all the independent variables like Jimmy Butler coming back. Spoelstra probably got something different up his sleeve that can try to slow these guys down. I have no idea, bro. I don't even want to talk about this game, honestly.
I feel you on that. Like I said, that's a lean, so far. I'm gonna keep an eye on that. Maybe worth a sprinkle.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just keep it like that on the rebound plays. Like I said, AD over for even money over 11.5, and I'm combining that with Porzingis under and play those straight. Like I said, AD has hit this line in the last like 7 or 9 games, but I do got a plus 10,000 4-leg parlay that could really happen. So I'm gonna post that on my page. If anybody is interested in that, I'm gonna post that on my timeline.
Okay.
And go from there.
Okay.
So we on.
Absolutely. Okay. Best of luck, bro. I appreciate you sharing those. I hope you cash them. I like the 80 rebounds for sure too. I think the Lakers play a little bit better defense than they have been playing on the road with the guys back together, especially getting this is going to be a big game, I think, for a guy like Patrick Beverley. I talked about his defensive impact and how the Lakers are giving up about 12 more points a game without him in, especially before the San Antonio series. But you really see it, the lack of defense that we play with on the defensive end, the lack of intensity our guards play with without him in the game. He's definitely a leader on the defensive end and an anchor for us. So I like that. I like that look, bro. I like that look a lot. Hopefully we force some misses and we can get AD to 12 rebounds tonight.
Yes, sir.
Let me see. I think I got one more request and that's it. So we can get ready to wrap up. I'll go over my officials. If I don't have any more requests, we can get up out of here. Richard, what's going on, my brother? How you doing, man? You got something you want to share or a question you want to ask? I don't even know if you got connected, Richard. Nah, you didn't get connected. Let me see if I can get my guy Carl up. Carl, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me up. I got in here kind of late. I just had a quick question. I saw the FanDuel KD and D-Book over 50 prop. I was curious if you guys had covered that at all.
Nah, we haven't talked about it. I hadn't even saw that, honestly. It's combined for 50, KD and
Yeah, KD and D-Book combined for 50. 150 bet FanDuel exclusive. I was just curious what your thoughts are on that. D-Book's been off. They're playing the Rockets. Blowout factor there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, man. I think I could see that happening. I could also, yeah, I could. Hey, Finesse, Cam, y'all give you some help, bro. I can see it going both ways. I hate those boosts, man. I absolutely hate those boosts.
Is it combined for 50 between the two of them?
Yeah, combined for 50.
It'd be shocking if it didn't hit. But like I've seen them not hit. That's the problem. Like because it really comes down to blowout factors. I could see Book finishing on 20 and KD finish on 20, for instance.
Yeah, I can see Book on 19 and they win by 19 and then you Grizz. So
I do think KD puts 25 on the Raptors tonight, but I can see Book stopping at 20 and you just being like, for real. That's the issue there.
That
All right,
boost,
good looks,
that
guys.
boost means Kyrie dropping 40. That's what that means.
That's what I was thinking, Finesse.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's it.
OG is gonna be guarding KD, and KD don't get it twisted. KD probably the greatest scorer we ever seen, but after OG got embarrassed on the defensive end by by Zion, I do think that he come back with something. I'm not saying that he gonna stop KD, and KD's been on a tear offensively. If you go look at his last few numbers, they've really just been running the offense through him, and everybody else has been kind of standing around watching. But I do feel like OG gonna make it, a little more difficult for KD today, man. I'm not saying that he don't go for 25 and don't get his points, but I think it's gonna be hard. Go ahead, Cam. What you say?
No, last time they played us, KD put the clamps on OG, and it was back and forth. Like he was trying to do the same, and there's something going on there. It's not like obviously people like KD's taking whatever defense he wants, like whatever he's taking something real personal because the way he played against OG last game, it was basically like, all right, cool. If you're gonna D me up, I'm gonna D you up. He didn't put up that many points, but he clamped OG. It was crazy. I was like, all right, cool. It seems like that's gonna be a very interesting matchup to watch tonight. I would be careful with KD. Like it seems like that KD takes it personally from a defensive standpoint. The way OG plays him, it's like it's just OG's in him, and he plays the same way back. So it's fun to watch, but
yeah. I'm gonna be watching, man. That's a really good question, Carl. I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm glad I had some smart people up here to give you some feedback because my gut always tells me no on those, and I know that they cash sometimes, but my gut always tells me no. And shout out to DJ in the chat. DJ said D Book could go for 50 alone, and that's true. Like we just seen him score 51, but it could be a campaign night where campaign dropped 30 because they are playing against the Houston Rockets, and I already talked about how much I like Aiden tonight, even though I didn't play his player prop. So it could be a game where I'm not saying Devin Booker doesn't get his point prop, he doesn't get 30, and I think KD definitely gonna score in that game as well. But I don't know, man. That one just seems really, really, really tricky, and 50 seems like a really low number too. I would think that number would be at like 55 or 60. I see you come off mute. What's your thoughts on that, Finesse?
Yeah, the book's just not trying to hand out no gimmies,
Right.
They're expecting a shit ton of people to jump on that as just, let me double my money real quick, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I just say we all know, kind of what the boosts do, and that's what the books do best. Put out boosts that look real enticing, and then something always happens, whether it's blowout or foul trouble or just an off night or defensive matchup. So, yeah, I'd definitely be careful.
Yeah. I think I'm going to play Kyrie points with you now, Finesse.
Hey, yo, good looks, guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. I appreciate the question because I don't even check those boosts, honestly. I know people sometimes DM them to me. I don't even check those boosts most of the time. Cam, let's come to you real quick.
I got one play, and this man's been playing terrible, but the number's too low. Fred VanVleet, assist plus points, 22.5. He clears this against Brooklyn. Like historically, he doesn't even he clears it by like 10, and he's been off, and he's pissed off. That last game, he got ejected. We got ran off the court. I can't the way Fred VanVleet is a type of leader. He's not going to come out and have another real. I just can't see 3 really bad games in a row. It's hard to call his points. The Raptors are the hardest team to cap when it comes to OG, Pascal, and Fred when they're all playing to cap their points. But the 22.5 assists and points, he turns into a facilitator when Pascal's there. I can't see him getting less than 15 points, 15, 16 points. That means he just needs a couple assists. So it's minus 120, and that's the one I'm rolling with because I do think he's just going to come out on fire. I think he gets close to 20 points tonight, to be honest. I think he's gonna ride that anger from last game into this one. So with the UN, it kind of takes the ease off of you if he gets to 18-6 or something like that. So that's the one I'm riding with tonight, just that one play. Oh, and this is kind of a to go on the Kyrie thing, which is funny. I wouldn't put a big stake on it. This is a lean. I'm actually probably gonna play it though. But Kyrie up to 30 at plus 260. Like I said, I've been watching the Brooklyn play, and Kyrie's kind of been taking a backseat to KD going off, and it just feels like tonight feels like a night that Kyrie might just have his night. This is a feeling play, just watching the fact that it's been the KD show for a bit. At some point it will switch, and I do think tonight's that night, especially if Fred decides to go off. Kyrie's the type of dude to go back and forth. This is more of a matchup thing I'm looking at. So those are my 2 plays. Fred over a 22.5 minus 120. Kyrie Irving up to 30 plus 260.
Like it. I think he's the guy that bounces back tonight too, Cam. I think, I'm looking for a big night from Fred VanVleet. I didn't take him, but I'll probably look at his threes. I was talking about how bad Brooklyn does, against the three for the season. Recently, they haven't done that bad if you look at the last few games, but over the season, they're not, doing that great against point guards shooting the three. So I like that. I like that a lot. I do think that Kyrie
160 for 4.
For 4,
which is the lowest it'll be for what? It's the best odds you'll get for a while. If he has a good game tonight, that'll shoot back up. So if you are looking at it, it's not a bad number.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm there with you on that. Didn't pull the trigger. It might be a live look too, because we know that the number will drop if if it's not hitting early. But I love the bounce back angle for Fred VanVleet tonight. I actually got that on my short list.
Threes in the second half, so that's a good idea too.
Right. Okay, now I like that, Cam. I'm glad we got a chance to talk that out too. Let me kick it to Vaughn, then I'm gonna kick it to Ben. What's up, Vaughn?
Hey, what's good, bro? You hear me good?
Yeah, you good.
All right, man. So I don't have a lot of officials, man. I wasn't able to cap a lot of these games as much as I would like to. So I'm one I was able to kind of get a real good look at was that Pacers first quarter team total under 29.5. Pacers still worst first quarter scoring team in the league. Last 3 games, 26. They're scoring 24 on the road. And if you look at that 29.5 number, like they're not missing this on the hook or anything like that. If you look at this 29.5 number, they're 2-19 to this number on the season. And they're not coming close. We talked about it the other day, and they ended the first quarter versus the Lakers. I think they had 22, 23. It's no sweat bet. So the Jazz are a slower paced team. I don't anticipate the Pacers coming out, with a gang of motivation for this game. They on that West Coast road trip. So yeah, I love that first quarter team total under 29.5. I'm also on Memphis first quarter team total. I got it at 28.5. I took that one kind of early. I think you said it on the morning show as well. But Memphis typically they keep getting Friday night home games. And they go over this total in the first quarter on a lot of these Friday nights. I don't know what the schedule makers are doing for Memphis, but they always look out for them on that one. So I like those 2 as my officials. I also gave out Grayson Allen, 1.5 threes. So we know the Lakers are better defensively with Patrick Beverley. But outside of Patrick Beverley, ain't nobody else on that team really trying to play no defense. LeBron not playing defense.
AD though, Vaughn. Give my guy AD some credit, bro. You mean perimeter defense, right?
Now look, that helps and hurts though, because the more shots he blocks, the worse the perimeter defenders get. Because AD gonna clean it up. And if you look at that game the other night, Josh Hart had a couple great weak side offensive rebounds. So I really like Grayson Allen threes tonight. I took Valanciunas double in the win as well. Valanciunas he's been playing a decent amount of minutes. And the Spurs don't have anybody. The Spurs won't play a smaller lineup that will run them off the floor. We know when Valanciunas don't hit his line, it's typically on that game where he's playing against a small ball 5, and they running right past him. So I love Valanciunas double in the win. Got a lean to Denver first quarter. Just not feeling the Hawks right now. And then also, I wanted to get there with LaVine points. His shot attempts just don't do it for me. It seemed like that team is DeRozan or nothing. I love that Golden State first quarter spread. I got it at 2.5. We know what Golden State do when they come back home after a loss. And we going with Ben Mather in points. So one thing I do like about him is when he's playing against teams that don't have a real inside presence, he attacks the basket a lot more. So I love that Ben Mathurin over 17.5. So I'm going to make that one official as well. So my 4 officials, let's go Valanciunas double in the win, Ben Mathurin points, that team total under for the Pacers first quarter, and then Memphis first quarter team total over 28.5. I think it might be at 29.5 now. I still like it there. That's all we rolling with today, man. I don't have a lot of plays. I do like that Darius Garland assist play you got. I like Clay as well. It's a couple of plays I like, but it's not a lot that I love for it to be 11 games. So I won't get to the table with a lot today, but 4 officials for me.
Okay. Hey, best of luck, bro. I hope you cash him, man. Definitely hope you cash him. Let me kick it to Ben. What's going on, Ben? What you on today?
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. What's going on?
Little bit of a heater lately.
Yeah, you've been killing it, Ben. What you got for us tonight?
It's been okay. I was on a lot of stuff you're on. I won't repeat anything unless I have anything to add to it. I laddered Garland's assists up to 14 solely because they've given up 14 assists to point guards 3 times in the last 6 games.
Damn.
So I figured let's just catch some ceiling there. Like you said, his splits at home are just so good with assists, like averaging basically 9. So let's try to take advantage of it. I'm on Memphis first quarter also. One that I didn't hear was I'm on Golden State team total first quarter in addition to the spread. Not sure if anyone else spoke about it. If they didn't, I can cover that. Chicago's the 6th or 7th worst first quarter defense in the league, and Golden State's averaging 33 for the first quarter, like 32.7, some along the lines of that, at home. So we're only looking for 30.5. I mean, we have a below average first quarter defense, and all we need is a below average Golden State result. I just think this total's too low. So give me that 30.5. I'm going to keep getting to the counter every single day with Joel Embiid assists until they change it. Every single day with Tyrese Maxey at hard now. Embiid's averaging double-digit potential assists. For those who didn't watch the Cavs and Sixers game, Embiid was extremely, pissed off that the offense was not running through him more the other night. Like, guys were just not giving him the ball, and I'm sure he let people hear it after the blowout. Even with that, he had 4 assists in the first quarter the other night and still finished with 6, not playing the last 14 minutes of the game. I got it at 4.5 this morning. At minus 128. I got it laddered up to the triple-double. I got triple-double this morning built out to plus 4,000. They very quickly on my book fixed that. By this afternoon, it's only like plus 2,000. I think there's still value there. So, I mean, if the offense keeps running through Joel and there's no guards, I'm going to keep hitting that assist at 4.5. Now, that kind of leads into another play. I'm on DeAnthony Melton points over 13.5. Obviously, him coming back to Memphis. We always like playing those guys when they make kind of their trip back to their former team. And I think we're getting value here. He's only scored 9 points in the last 2 games, but the shot attempts have been there. He shot, I think, 13 and 12 the last 2 games, and the 12 shot attempts was, in that blowout against the Cavs where, again, none of their starters really played late. And with Embiid wanting to, have the offense run through him, Melton's going to be able to kind of run around and try to, get to his spot. I would imagine we're going to see at least as many shot attempts as he's been averaging, the last 5 to 8 games, returning home. So if we get 13, 14 attempts, I have a hard time seeing him not get to 13.5 points. I think 13 or 14 attempts is the floor here. I would bet we see closer to, between 15 and 17 attempts. It's just an awesome motivation spot. With the fact that Memphis is allowing, the most assists to centers this year, which again, that plays them into Embiid, facilitating and other guys scoring. And if you look at the lineups that Philly's running out there, there's not a whole lot of other guys than Melton to score with Maxey and Harden out. So definitely on those 2. I'm trying to figure out a way to play Lakers first half, just kind of fading Middleton, coming back to the lineup and buying this Lakers first half upward trend. I might buy it down to like 8.5 and do a little 2-leg parlay with something. I was looking at like Pelicans money line with Lakers plus 8.5. I haven't gotten there with that yet, but
You don't think my Lakers gonna be getting blown out at halftime, do you, man?
No. I'm saying I want the Lakers plus 8.5. I like the Lakers early. I don't know if I like them full game, but I think we can trust them early.
No, that's what when you imply that you're taking the Lakers plus 8.5, I mean, if you down by 10 at halftime, that's pretty much on the way to a blowout. Yeah,
that's bad. I think they covered that. I just want to give myself a couple point cushion in case there's a BS foul or a buzzer beater.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I totally get it. These lines are sharp for sure.
And then I think that's all I'm on right now. We're seeing the books not adjust to some of these guys out. With other players like Embiid's assists or plays sort of like that as quickly. So I feel like we can just stick with what we're good at and just kind of roll with that even on these bigger slates. Like we don't got to force a ton of action. I think I got like 5 or 6 plays tonight, 11 games, which I guess isn't a ton, but I feel good with where we're at.
Absolutely. I mean, it really don't matter, man. As long as you feel good with what you got, bro, you can have one play, no plays. You know what I mean? Like it really don't matter.
No. And then I did the little sprinkle this morning for plus 33,000 on Morant triple double and Embiid triple double. I don't think the odds are quite that good anymore, but you can still probably get plus like 15,000 or something for that.
Parlaying them together for both of their triple doubles. Okay.
Those triple doubles together. Yeah, just like we've talked about it, how Morant's assists are really, really good at home, and obviously, Jaren Jackson's not an incredible rebounder, and Steven Adams is going to have to do a lot of, chasing Embiid around, especially with Embiid being such a high usage player. Like there's just going to be kind of those cheap defensive rebounds that I think Morant can grab. Again, like I wouldn't take it 1-to-1, but if you're going to give me plus 1,000 on that, like I'll put a little something on it,
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I totally understand that. And I think that's really good analysis too on, having Steven Adams kind of guard Embiid, Jared Jackson Jr. not the greatest rebounder as we all know, and Ja being one of the greater guard rebounders as well. So
I think I saw you post on the other day. He's like second or third in the league amongst guards and rebounds.
Yeah, it's like him and Steph, and it's a couple of the guys, but it's some guys that definitely go in and try to get all the rebounds. Westbrook, Luka, those guys are rebounding the ball, really well.
No doubt.
A lot of looks, Ben. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, good luck to you tonight as well. Let me kick it back to Finesse. What up, Finesse?
Yo, just real quick, I just wanted to get one more that I'm going to lock in. CJ McCollum over 5.5. He's averaging 12 potential assists over the last 6 games. San Antonio ranks 30th in total assists allowed and third to point guards. And CJ basically runs the point. So I like him without Ingram tonight over 5.5 assists. I just wanted to be real quick, give that out.
Okay.
That's a really good look.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Rated R. Can you hear me, bro? If so, the floor is yours, and we're gonna shut it down after that.
Chris, can you hear me, bro?
Yeah, you good? What's going on?
I know. What's up, bro? I appreciate you. This is my first time speaking in your space, but I'm always in here. I had a question.
What's up?
And I'm gonna try to be brief. Donovan Mitchell, his assist sitting at 4.5, is back down to 122 after being at 128 and 124. You gave out that stat about Darius Garland, especially against Orlando, and I'm just kind of curious because Donovan Mitchell, he's consistent, but when he's inconsistent, and I just feel like these last 2 games, and then playing Orlando, I don't know where he is motivational wise. Like, is this a motivational spot for him to bounce back, or is it like, okay, is it I'm gonna overlook Orlando? Coming off an 18-point game and an 8-point game. I don't know, but I'm looking at his assists, and I want to know what you thought about that, or anybody who's looked at the Cleveland game.
Craig, can I take that one?
Yeah, go ahead, Ben. I know you're a Cleveland guy. Go ahead.
I think that now that Garland and Mitchell have kind of gotten used to playing with each other a little bit, now that, because obviously the first game of the year, right, Garland goes out, misses some time. Now that they've been together for 5, 6, 7 games plus, I think Mitchell is kind of taking over the role of scorer, and Garland is kind of being more the facilitator who scores when he wants to. If you look at kind of the trajectory of Donovan Mitchell's potential assists, because again, as we've talked about here, we're betting on volume, we're not betting on stats, we're betting on potential of everything, right? Shot attempts, potential assists, rebounding chances, right? We don't want to.
You broke up a little bit, Ben. Can you hear me? Yeah, we lost you, Ben. You sound like you're in the Matrix. Can you hear me? Nah.
Yeah, he definitely he in and out.
Yeah, he in the Matrix. Real quick, Rated R. What I would say on that is, I think both of those guys can hit their assist numbers tonight. Honestly, I think the Cleveland Cavaliers are a better team when they don't have to have Donovan Mitchell go for 30 to 35 points. Of course, you want to be able to get the other guys involved like Dean Wade and you just Kevin Love is back tonight. You want Lamar Stevens cutting to the rim, and this kind of sets up for that type of game in my estimation where. I could see him, getting 5 assists. You said the line was at 4.5. I also could see Donovan Mitchell. I'm sorry. I could also see Darius Garland going for, 10, 12 assists as well. So I wouldn't talk you off of playing that number. He's already, like I said, he cleared it in the first game, but that game, of course, didn't have Darius Garland, who's going to, eat up the potential assist tonight.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
I don't know, man. I just keep looking at it, and I've been honestly. It's crazy to get down to crunch time, but I've been looking at it all day, and I'm just like, damn, I don't really know. Like, and then the whole thing, it's just Cleveland is such a tricky team. I think with them trying to figure out who they are and what they are, and Ben he touched on something that I was thinking too. At some point in time, like they're gonna have to figure out who's the guy. Like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to D. Mitch, but Darius Garland be hooping, man. Like. He be out there going crazy. And, I always refer back to something Shaq said. Shaq makes a great point, and he made this point speaking on Donovan Mitchell. He was like, do you want to be a good player or do you want to be a great player? And I feel like D. Mitch really hasn't. I don't know why, like, when have we ever talked about Donovan Mitchell being in the MVP conversation? Like, I don't recall ever really speaking on Donovan Mitchell taking that next step, that next leap. I thought, being in Cleveland, I know he wanted to be in New York, but, Cleveland's not a bad spot for him. And I'm not trying to be too deep or go too long, but I know you're ready to get up out of here. But I just, I kind of like this Cleveland team. The assist was a little tricky, so I wanted to ask and see where your head was. And I appreciate your input on that, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I say, if you got a gut feeling on it, play it. But, if not, you can kind of watch it, just kind of monitor it. And the other thing I think is also, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, Rated R, the other thing I think, like we talked about, like, what their identity is. I think they kind of proved it in the very beginning. But this Cavs team still hasn't had a long stretch of games where they've been able to play together. Game 1 of the season, Darius Garland got poked in the eye. He missed like 8 games. Then he comes back, and Jared Allen's been in and out of the lineup. Same thing with Kevin Love. So all of those guys collectively together, they even got Evan Mobley at the 5, and we know his natural position is the 4. He's gonna be able to dominate at the 5 tonight against an Orlando team that's small, but it's a lot of factors that go into it, man. So I still don't think we've seen the Cavaliers kind of hit their peak, and I do think they're one of the probably 2 or 3 best teams in the Eastern Conference. But yeah, I appreciate the question, man.
Absolutely, bro. I appreciate you. Keep doing your thing, bro.
Absolutely. I wanted to kick it to Ski. Ski came up. Ski, if you want to come back up, bro, just pop back up real quick. And Prop Bomb, I'm trying to get you connected. If you can hear me, Prop, the floor is yours. Take us out.
Hey, it finally worked, Chris. There we go.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing good, man. I finally got a moment to hop on one of these spaces. I see you've been consistently going at it every single day, and of course, like, I appreciate you for what you do for the community. And I know we all like to chop it up here and just brainstorm. So I'm glad I could finally be able to contribute, because it's just been really busy for me up until today, honestly. So just wanted to talk about this lean I had, actually. And it's weird too, because I never do rebound props. It's something that I've actually not done since, like, maybe I've done 3 or 4 out of like my 80 props this year. But it's actually DeAnthony Melton over 4.5 rebounds versus Memphis. So as we know with DeAnthony Melton, he is their best on-ball defender, and he's gonna likely be tasked to defending John Morant. And knowing John Morant and how he's number 1 in their team in drives per game, he's going to be met at the rim in potential John Morant misses, if that were to be the case. And then you got Steven Adams and Jaren Jackson Jr. down low to box out Joel Embiid for potential rebounds. And not only that, Tobias Harris tonight, I don't even think he plays. I know it's he says that he's I don't know what's the story here. Apparently yesterday Doc Rivers was saying that he has this illness and he missed shoot around. So I don't think he plays tonight.
Yeah, he's a true game time decision. I saw prop like 30 minutes ago.
Yeah. So I mean, just looking at I don't really. So I used to do this last season, like look at like how many assists per games versus positions. I really just look at the matchup as of day, but I'm gonna look at it for this type of prop. The Memphis Grizzlies are allowing the first most rebounds per game versus point guards. So it seems like it's a bit of buy low spot too, because Melton, if you look at the past couple of game logs, he has not done that. But with Joel Embiid, so he didn't do it the last two games, right? Versus Cleveland, versus Atlanta. But then the games before that, 5 rebounds, 7 rebounds, 6 rebounds, 10 rebounds, 7 rebounds. So the prop's 3.5 or 4.5 rebounds. And then you have Harden not being there, and then you have the potential of Tobias not being there. It's a lean of mine. It's not an official prop, but figured I'd just spitball, see what you think.
Yeah, I can see it. Those rebound props prop are like really, really tricky though. I feel like the books are typically sharp on the number with those as well. But you do get the motivation factor for him, because it's not just like he's going to want to go out there and score. He's going to want to, impact the game on, on every level, right? Because of course this was his team. So I think a lot of the times, we look towards the player who's coming back home in those revenge games to go over a specific, prop, probably like Wendell Carter Jr. when he goes back and plays against Chicago. We always take his points over, his rebounds over. But I think collectively, just kind of looking at their PRA and how they impact the game. Also from a Philadelphia 76ers standpoint, I think that, they're missing so much without having Maxey and without having James Harden, that they really need guys to be able to do everything. So I couldn't talk you off of it, prop. I couldn't talk you off of it, but I do think that, those lines are sharp for sure.
Yeah. Again, Chris, like it's a reason why I don't do rebound props at like maybe 6% of the time. Like last season, I would do it. I would probably do a third of the time. I really just lowered the types of bets I've made, and mostly, and I want to say, like, if you are trying to be profitable in the prop market in NBA, it's funny because like I'm recommending taking a prop, but for the most part, do not look to take rebound props. Like you look at points, look at assists, and that's it. And it's been working for me. I mean, I'm living in the moment right now, going 13 of my last 14 props of being winners, but it's because I have been practicing this whole mentality of just sticking with what's been working for me, and that's just I mean that's kind of what's been going on.
That's what's up, prop. 13-4, nice little run, man. Congratulations. I hope you keep it up too, man. That's what's up. Love to see you winning, because I know you give all your plays out for free. I know they'd be cashing, and you post everything and got everything tracked too, man. So best of luck to you tonight, prop, on whatever you on, man. And like I said, congratulations on the run for sure as well.
Most definitely. Thank you, Chris.
Absolutely, man. So it's about 10 minutes, about 20 minutes before you actually got to lock everything in. But real quick before we get out of here, first of all, I never do this either. I want to thank everybody for stopping by. Everybody that tuned in that's listening, but all of the speakers too. My guy Finesse, Ben, Vaughn, Cam. I'm gonna miss people, but everybody that makes the show a lot better than just listening to me. When I first started doing these spaces, it's crazy because I'm coming up on a year. I actually started in December last year. I didn't have speakers. I was just capping the games and giving out plays myself without bringing anybody up. And, it just started to grow. And then, I started to connect with people, and they would come back, and, it changes, and everybody can't make it every day. But I really do appreciate everybody for, their input, whether you're just supporting or you're actually contributing, because sometimes, most of the time recently, it hasn't been my plays. It's actually been the most profitable. It's been other people. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'll go back over my officials real quick, and if I add anything, I'll let you guys know. But Garland over 8.5 assists. I talked about that. The line's actually better now. I got it at minus 128. It's minus 110 right now. Donovan Mitchell threes, haven't locked that in, but I do like him over 3.5 tonight. We've seen this Orlando team struggle to guard shooting guards and specifically against the three as well. They also don't play well on the road. And it's the first night of a back-to-back for them. I also had the Cavs minus 10 in my pocket. I played that last night. Memphis minus the 5.5. I made the video for that one. All analysis was given out. Denver first quarter minus the 0.5. And the Warriors minus 7. I did hop on the Warriors full game minus the 7. Strong leans towards the Raptors money line. Didn't get there with that one. And the Lakers plus the 9, man. I do feel like we can stay in that game and not lose by 10 points, not lose by 9 points, but kind of keep it to a 1 or 2 possession game. So that's what I'm on officially, man. Best of luck to you guys. As always, tomorrow we got a bunch of games again. So I'll figure out what time the first one starts, start capping them tonight. And then, we'll figure out what time a show will be tomorrow. So just keep an eye on my page. I'll tweet it out before time. But that's what I got for you guys, man. Best of luck tonight.